Watch me ride.
Hey everybody, I'm very happy to be back at Haslemere Motorcycles, and today I'm going to be taking out the Suzuki GSX-8S. This bike has got 61 miles on it. It is literally brand new. I'm going to have to look after it. So yes, the Suzuki GSX-8S. It's a bit of a mouthful. I like to call it the Dash 8, and that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. This is the Dash 8. This is a highly anticipated bike for many because this is a real contender to the MT-07, the new Honda Hornet, and a few other of those middle-ranged bikes which are designed to be good and powerful but also restrictable to an A2 if you so want to. It also is the bike I made a video about a while ago called the MTO Everything, where I talked about how Honda and Suzuki had talked about coming out with parallel twin engines. This is a parallel twin. And at the time I said, who wants to bet it's going to have a 270-degree firing order, just like the MT-07 and the Hornet, and it has. And that's no bad thing. The parallel twin 270-degree firing order is an absolutely fantastic engine for nowadays. You know, you've got loads of torque down low, good mid-range power, very grunty, so it's fun to ride. And you don't have to string it out to stupid speeds to have fun, which is tricky to do on today's roads. It is just under 800cc, I think it's like 779, something like that. 82 brake horsepower. It has a quick shifter up and down. And it costs about 8 grand, so it is a little bit more expensive than some of its competitors. While I'm down on these little country roads, let's talk about the ergonomics a little bit. I am 6'4", so I am taller than most. And this has actually got plenty of space for me. It feels very comfortable. The seat is wide enough to be comfy. I've got space for my knees. The pillion seat's not in the back of me or anything. I'm good. Seating position is very, very nice. Actually quite reminiscent of my my Yamaha XJ6, which I have because it's so comfortable. Bi-directional shifter is pretty smooth. Maybe not the smoothest in the world I've felt, but pretty good still. It is surprisingly quite quiet. It's got a good rumble to it, but it's actually pretty quiet. I would be very interested to hear what this would sound like with a big open exhaust on it, you know. Not that I'm childish or anything. This doesn't feel like a big bike. It doesn't feel really heavy and big. It feels quite sort of small, comfortable, like controllable, like you've got hold of the thing. It doesn't feel overly big. It does want to keep the wheel ahead, but you've got nice wide bars that gives you a good amount of leverage, which makes it very sort of flicky and manoeuvrable feeling. See, I think, personally, this is getting close. This sort of whole idea of a bike is getting close to the perfection of a bike for 2023 Britain, because of our roads being so full of traffic and potholes and stuff. You need something that you don't have to wring it out to have fun on it. That low down torque is what it's all about. Now, even though this does have a bi-directional quick shifter on it, you're probably going to notice I'll be using the clutch. I like riding bikes. I like using the clutch. So I know a lot of people, if you do a review on a bike and you seem to be using a clutch when it has a quick shifter, people lose their minds. Some of us don't like them. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like the quick shifter, I like having the clutch. I like feeling like I'm doing something here. Getting to blip opposed to just shift. Okay, so first off, looks. I actually really, really like the look of this bike. I think Suzuki have made this look unique and sharp and nice. I know there's some reminiscent things about KTM Dukes with the headlight and stuff, but in person it really doesn't have that look to me. It strikes me as something different. You know, it's very pointed. We're still very much down the ant wasp route with the front, but I think that this bike looks absolutely great. And this is actually my least favourite colour. The 3 colours I've seen of this is this, the white with blue rims and some blue decals, and then the blue bike. They do this in the most amazing baby blue, maybe you want to call it like almost a McLaren blue. Lovely colour with blue rims. I've got a picture of one of those and it's absolutely amazing. I love that thing. Kind of sad it's not the blue one today, but it's fine. I can get over it. So we've got dual 320mm ABS brakes on the front. I think that's a 290 disc on the rear. We have an underslung exhaust, which is very much in line with all these sort of parallel twins. I do like a side exhaust. Very nice coloured metals and looks to the engine. I would like this bit to look a little bit more sort of in line with that, because that's a little cheaper looking than that nice engine casing, but it looks great. I'm just being very pernickety here. We've obviously got the trellis frame, and I say on the blue bike, that is blue, and it just have a look at the other side of the engine. You see you've got the shifter linkage here, and you've got your bi-directional pickup for the shifter right in the middle there, so that's how that one is done. Look, this bike is so new, it's still got the peel on the screen. Let's have a look under the tail. I imagine there's not going to be anything spectacular under here to see, but we do need to check it out. Okay, opens from the front. Not a huge amount of space. You've got your cable there to access, but yeah, it's what you'd kind of expect. Okay, so let's look at the controls. Clutch lever, non-adjustable, but I have a feeling Suzuki know people are going to want to change things like that themselves. Pass light, we've got the selection up and down button, your mode button to do with traction control and power modes and stuff like that. Indicator, horn, start, stop, kill, and your hazard switch. Yeah. Front brake has got an adjuster on it. And then we need to have a look at this screen. Okay, so this is a TFT. We've got the revs around the side here, temperature at the bottom, voltage. Odometer, see it's got 70 miles on it. We're currently in traction control 2. The SDMS is basically the sort of power you get from it. You've got different levels with that. It says that obviously you've got quick shift here. Then I guess we press the mode button. There you go. It's so intuitive. And then down again, A, B, C. And that gives you your different power options. Obviously we're going to want it in A. And it's just those two things you can change. We can look at the different, you know, trip 1, trip 2, fuel, MPG. We're currently getting 63 MPG apparently. Let's leave it on that one. Time up there, gear position. Yeah, it's everything you need to know, and it's very, very clear. I will say that, even though it's reasonably bright today, perfectly clear to see. But there's not a lot else to say, because, like I say, it looks nice. He's still there. Imagine having something quick. So really, this is a very basic bike, but a basic bike of 2023. Yes, it's got traction control and power modes and a quick shifter. But beyond that, and ABS, but beyond that, it is just a bike. Engine, seat, wheels, go. I have noticed, strangely, that this bike won't start in first. Even with a clutch pulled in, it won't. You have to put it into neutral to start it. Hang on. Do you also have to hold the clutch in? No. So I will mention that to them and see if there's something wrong with the clutch switch on this, mate. The clutch switch is not plugged in. Right, let's try that again. Right, I fixed it! So who is the Dash 8 aimed at? I think it's everyone, because this is enough for most. For the UK roads, this is absolutely great. You know, if you're on an A2, this is also great because it's an option that once you get it de-restricted later down the line, is still going to be plenty usable on the UK roads. What did he just lose? Oh, it's a... The poor guy lost his knee slider. Okay, I'm going to give this into Lumi's Motocaf, which is the way I'm heading. If you know that dude, or you are that dude, and you want your knee slider back, it's in Lumi's. Unless this is him now. Looking for this? It is him! I saw that come flying off. I thought I'd grab it and take it to Loomies if...
Wait a second, there's something fell off there. I'm going to use my phone, the bag. No. It's the lease line.
No worries. Fixing motorcycles and helping bikers. I'm trying to review a motorcycle here. This has got an absolute ton of torque, I will say. I mean, I'm not even getting on the throttle here because I've got to be careful with this bike. It is relatively new. But, man, it's interesting how, you know, how power delivery feels different regardless of horsepower. My XJ6 Diversion, 2010, it's an old girl, it's an inline 4. 79 brake horsepower roughly, so not a huge amount less than this, but because it has to get right up in the revs to produce any power, this just feels more intimidating, more sort of grunty and hold on and which is what you want. You want to feel like you're going fast and you're actually doing 57. I'm really liking the suspension on this too. It is slightly on the firmer side, but it's still comfortable. You know, so it's got a very good feel through the bars. These are aluminium tapered bars apparently. And I will say, you do get a lot of feel through them. I can feel like the texture of the surface of the road. It's transmitting that quite nicely. Ah yes, a tunnel. Good for sound. Okay, so there you go, sound. It's nice and it's low and it's rumbly. It sounds good. It's not that loud, which is what they do to these bikes these days. You know, catalytic converters and all that. No chance. As suspected, the handling is absolutely lovely. I obviously got to be careful here because, again, less than 100 mile old tyres. This is quick. This feels quicker than, but it's because of the way it's geared and the way that the torque comes in. It feels a lot quicker than you'd imagine 80 brake horsepower to feel. There isn't any massive things standing out at me about this bike, and I think that's because it's just doing everything quite well. It seems very nicely set up, nicely balanced, throttle controls nice, as I say. There's plenty of grunt there when you want it. The steering's light and feels nice. They've given it nice wide bars, which I love. I hate it when they put tiny little bars on a bike and you don't feel like you've got any leverage over the steering. This, you really, you know, you've got hold of it. So as much as traffic is messing things up for me a little bit today, I have been able to try this in different scenarios. Stuck in traffic, comfortable, nice to use. In something a bit twistier, seems okay so far. And I'm going to try it on the motorway going back up to Haslemere when I end the video. And that will be a test of it as a motorway bike. So this test is actually going to cover all aspects of what you want to know, because that's what everyone uses their bike for. Sometimes you'll go to the shops, sometimes you'll go out for a blat, and sometimes you just need to go 400 miles to a boring meeting somewhere. Oh, it's really nice. The way it pulls out, it's got a lot more. I'm not pushing it that hard. But it means that you don't really have to, you know, as you're coming out of a corner, you've got all the power you want there, and you just give it a little twist and it really... Torquey son of a... It's just so smooth. If you just hold that throttle there and blip through the box, it's just linearly just keeps going. It does go like a train, as they say. It just goes and goes. It's from nothing on the throttle as well. It feels like it's tuned to not be too aggressive, so you can pull away nicely and that. But once you get on it, it really, yeah. It's good though, I like it. I really like it. And remember, I've only ridden this bike a short while. I'm having to be careful that I've got new tyres. Okay, I have an issue, which is when I left, I had 3 bars of fuel. I'm now flashing on E. So I'm going to need to grab some fuel before I head back, I think. So as I mentioned, Honda's brought out the new Hornet, and obviously the new MT-07 2023 is all updated and everything. If I was going to choose between the 3, I think I probably would pick the Suzuki based on basically looks alone at this point. I haven't ridden the other 2 to be able to do a direct comparison. Hang on a minute, what size tank has this bike got? Because I've just put 6.5 litres in it and it's gone from flashing red to 4 bars. It was worth taking the extra time to go and get some fuel versus risking it running out on the way to Haslemere Motorcycles. Okay, well hopefully you can hear me. 70 mile an hour, 6 gear, 4,500 RPM. Smooth. Vibrationless, comfy, but exposed in the wind. And also I'll note at this point in time, I cannot hear this bike. I can hear nothing. I hear wind noise and nothing else. I dropped a gear and I still didn't hear anything. You wouldn't know this wasn't electric apart from the vibrating rumbles you get from it. But even there it is smooth. It's definitely got power for an overtake, my god. Okay, well, sitting on the motorway, extremely comfortable, plenty of power to overtake, and I'd say that this bike's gearing is too long. I used 6, but not really. 5th is enough for the motorway. And I have noticed that, you know, as I said, the gears, it really does get going, and it would be nicer maybe if they just shortened down those gears a little bit, so 6 was more reasonable and you know, in turn. But then of course if you want to change that yourselves, you can always have a twiddle with a sprocket ratio change and see what that does. Overall, that is an absolutely fantastic all-rounder bike for everything from commuting to, now maybe not sitting on the motorway and touring long distance with no wind protection whatsoever, and also with these sort of ramps for the air, it does kind of feel like you're being properly blasted by the airflow, which is a good thing actually in ways, because it makes you feel like the bike's going faster than it actually is. But yeah, if you're interested in one of these sort of, you know, middle grounded bikes, if you're looking at the Honda, you're looking at the MT, I'd take a strong look at this, and the best thing you can do is test ride all of them and pick the one that you want. But there you go, that is my review of the 2023 Suzuki GSX-8S. GSX-8S. Dash 8. It's the Dash 8, okay. That's what we're calling it. Haslemere Motorcycles, thank you once again. Very glad that you invited me down to ride this, and I've got a few more to do from here as well. So until the next one, bye-bye.